then, guys and girls, here we have Neo XYX. I suppose really I'll just get the crap part of this out of the way first and get it off my chest, because I need to get it off my chest. First of all, this is the second time I've recorded this video. First time I recorded it, I got absolutely everything that I wanted to say. It was a good video, but then when I played it back, the camera was out of focus. What a shitter. Anyway, I'm going to start recording off again. Hopefully it's all in focus this time and it won't look a blurry mess, but of course, because this is an NG Dev game after Redux Dark Matters, you may be forgiven for thinking that actually the blurry mess was actually intentional. Yeah, sorry, had to get that one in there. Neo XYX is from the same developer as the company that bought us, Redux Dark Matters, which I've recently reviewed on my channel. And now again, that was a recent release, came out, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago now. Now Neo XYX has just been released. It's been out about a week, and I've just got round to actually doing a video for this. Now, let's forget about Dark Matters, because you know, whilst the game itself wasn't a crap game by any stretch of the imagination, I do think there are certain things about that game that don't make it great, or actually don't make it good, really. But that's all in my other review. I'm not going to go over that again now. Let's stick with XYX. You know, this is what this video is about. Now, as you can see, this is a vertical shooter. Oh yeah, and it's on the Dreamcast still. And I've got to be honest, it's, you know, in comparison to Redux, in fact, in comparison, in my opinion, in comparison to anything else that NG Dev has done, Gunloyd aside, because that's not really a sort of traditional shoot 'em up, but I think that this is the best shooter that NG Dev have developed and produced. It is just absolute classic shooting bliss. Like I said, it's in vertical mode. So I'm playing this now on my Sega Naomi cabinet. I got my Dreamcast connected up to my cabinet. Let's just quickly turn the light on so you can see all that. So that's my arcade cabinet all linked up. And in my opinion, this is what a shoot 'em up should really be like. It gives you the full options over the orientation. So of course, if you've got a normal CRT TV, you can turn it on its end if you dare, and you can play this game in its, I suspect, in its native form. So that is a major plus for it. It sort of sets the scene really for what the game is all about and what you can expect from the game. Something you may have picked up from, I suppose really from elements of this track sequence, is the fact that this game is quite similar in some ways to a typical old school shooter, you know, by the likes of producers like Toplan. It looks pretty awesome, actually. It really does. It sort of mixes it up a bit. It's a bit of a traditional vertical shooter, arcade vertical shooter, in its gaming mechanic, you know, in its graphic style. It is very, very retro. I mean, this is running at the moment as a VGA signal, so it's 480p, but I've got a scanline generator in between my Dreamcast and my arcade cabinet. Now this arcade cabinet monitor is tri-sync, so it will go down to 240p, and this game will look virtually exactly the same as this in normal 240p mode, and it is compatible with that. But for the purpose of the way that I'm trying to connect it up, it's easier for me to use the VGA connector and use the SLG in this instance, but it will look exactly the same. It is really nice and pin sharp, as you would expect a proper retro shooter to look like. And of course you've got the scan lines on there because this has got an SLG over it, but if you were to use Dreamcast with a SCART RGB cable connected up to your SCART RGB enabled CRT, you'll get exactly the same effect. You'll get native scan lines. So apart from that sort of overall look of the game, it's sort of going back to the mechanics of the game, as mentioned before, it's very typical old school mechanics are, but it's been jazzed up a bit because it's not only sort of old school mechanics and fairly straightforward as regards to what you need to do with the game and how you play the game, but as you probably saw there as part of that track sequence, you've got a lot of pink bullets on there. Now of course the pink bullet sort of scenario is very much synonymous with cave shooters, and that's the bit of the sort of mix-up that it's got. It's pretty manic. It is pretty manic. I haven't played the game that much. I've probably had 4 or 5 playthroughs of the game. Well, I say playthroughs, yeah, not playthroughs, because that's insinuating I've gone through it, but I haven't. It is pretty difficult. It's not easy as regards to progression in the game if you stick to mechanics of the game. It's based around a 3-shot ship. You've got your normal fire, you've got your bomb, and you've got a slowdown feature where it increases your firepower but it slows your ship down. Now I've tried to use the slowdown feature for increased firepower, but it's pretty murderous because you can get to parts even for the first level. I mean, the first level isn't easy. It really isn't. And I suppose in some way you expect it to sort of hug you a bit, being the first level, and sort of pat you on the back. It doesn't. It just smashes you straight in the chin. You know, which is a bit of a wake-up call, obviously, but I don't hold that against the game. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. But you'll probably find yourself using multiple continues to begin with until you get used to the game. The scoring mechanic of the game is evolved around I can't think of the word now. Chains, around chaining, and to actually get mega scores on this, and I can't. I'm absolutely crap at this. I'm trying to find out what's going on the screen without actually worrying about chaining. But if you start going for the chaining, it does get pretty manic. And effectively, there's these tokens. You can see some tokens coming down the screen now occasionally. You can't see them. There's one there. You got bombs you can pick up, but you're given tokens, and if you keep your chaining up on your tokens, you'll just go for mad multipliers on your score. So I suppose you can treat the game in 2 ways. You can go for pure survival mode, or you can go for scoring mode, really. So it's entirely up to you how you play it, but it is brutal. It is brutal. The game itself has some real great end of level bosses. They sort of bring back many memories as regards to the real retro vertical shooters. I keep saying about retro vertical shooters, but when you see this game, and hopefully you'll see a bit more in a minute when I have a bit of a play on it, it really is bang on retro. I think it's really good. I mean, like I said, I think it's the best game that NG Dev have done to date, and I'm really hoping that the next release, which is due over the next couple of months, is of the same type of playability and just overall presentation that this game provides. So I'm going to cut to the chase. I'm going to get on some gameplay. I probably won't talk much because it's bloody hard going. I hope you enjoy the view, guys, and I'll speak to you again soon. Oh, by the way, this game is pretty reasonable. I picked it up from Video Game Imports in the UK for, I think it was about £26. I think it was £30 delivered. So great price, in my opinion, for a great game. I just wish that they'd adopted a similar approach they've done here to previous games they've released, but let's hope that any future ones they release are a similar quality and playability of this game. I'm just going to check the controls first, because I don't think it saves the controls. Oh, it has done this time. Weird. Didn't before. But it shows here the different types of shots. So it's a three button shooting affair, fairly easy to get your head around. And these are the chaining of the tokens. And you've got bombs as well. And the actual game is quite geared towards you using bombs more often than perhaps what you're probably used to on a shooter. But something that I'm going to get mashed up in a minute, so I'm just going to talk anyway. But when I first connected this game up on my Dreamcast, it wasn't connected to my cabinet, and I just had a very quick play on it. But I was actually using the Dreamcast joypad, and I tell you what, that joypad is an absolute abomination. I mean, it is terrible. It is absolutely terrible. It's so loose, it's so spongy. Anybody that has got a Dreamcast that's used it to play shoot 'em ups, don't, because they are just utter shite. You need a fight stick. Now, admittedly, at the moment, it doesn't look too bad, does it? It doesn't look like it's absolutely mental, but shouldn't have done that. Right, so here's the first ending level boss. Oh, I saw that coming then. I mean, that was an idiotic mistake, that was. That's an awful score. Absolutely diabolical. Absolutely embarrassing. Quite good actually, because your ship has speech bubbles coming out of it, sort of dictating the state of affairs with you playing. And one of the speech bubbles is "oh fuck," which is pretty apt for when I'm playing it, because I'm thinking that to myself quite a lot of the time. Now it's starting to heat up. Yeah. And I'm sure when you know the bullet patterns, it's a piece of piss, but I'm basically just playing this for survival now, with a bit of chaining built in. Right, now I'm knackered. I've got no bombs left. I'm going to continue that. Right, so that was the first continue, basically to part way through level 2, which isn't great. Yeah, it's a proper sort of bullet weave session, this is. Yeah, that ain't going to work out. I'm going to basically just cheat it and just bomb. Now here you got shots coming, but yeah, you basically I've got shots coming beneath me, on top of me, through me. Aye! If I get past this, come on, hop. Oh god. Yeah, not great, was it? Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll speak to you again soon.